I don't know if you're like me, but here is what happens every time I ask someone for directions when I'm out in public. I ask them, and then they start to answer, and then I stop listening. I don't know why I do that. And I don't realize I'm not listening, but I'm not. They'll say, well, you just turn right down here, and I start thinking, I like her glasses. I wonder where she got them. Why do I do that? As I talk with people about this problem I have, you can imagine all the stories I hear. And I know a lot of women here are going to remind me of a stereotype that seems to be proven true again and again about men. That men don't even ask for directions when they need them most. They're always avoiding asking. What is going on there? Why are we so resistant? It seems that there's an issue with us asking for help. There's something awkward about it. And it seems that the more help we need, the more desperate we are for help, the more resistant we are to asking. It's as if all of us have this voice inside of us that says, I'll do this on my own. I got this. I can make it. I think that's a dynamic that's happening in the gospel today. You may have picked up on this detail. Usually, when you hear someone getting healed by Jesus, they come to him and say, Master, please help me. Not this week. This man is dragged by his friends. They brought him to Jesus, and he didn't say anything. Why? What's going on there? And Jesus only said one thing to him that's quoted. He said, be opened. What's going on, it seems to me, is that there is a human dynamic of us wanting to handle things on our own. And the reason, I think, is this. Most of us know that the problem that other people can see is only a symptom. That the real problem is deeper. That there's layers to it. And so we don't think they can help us. So we may ask for some help with a few of the symptoms, especially if people are on our case, because then it looks like we're doing something about it. But we don't really believe that they can help us. And there's proof of this all the time. How many of you have antibiotics in your medicine cabinet that you never finished? How many people don't take the prescriptions that their doctors give them? Or they don't take them for a period of time. I felt better. I didn't need that anymore. I don't want any medicine. We do that all the time. And Jesus says to us, if you want to be healed, you're going to have to be open. What some of you know, but a lot of you don't, is that I have spent a lot of my life, the bulk of it actually, more than 100 pounds overweight. It started when I was in elementary school, and it lasted for years. And starting in high school, I went through every treatment you could imagine. I went to doctors and dietitians. I tried every diet. There was even a point where I lost 80 pounds through exercise, but I gained it all back. So I had a friend who knew about my struggle and said, you know, my sister has an eating disorder, and it's different than yours. She has anorexia and bulimia, but she went to this incredible professional. She's a behaviorist dietitian, somebody who knows not just food, but knows human behavior. Maybe you could go and she could help you. She helped my sister. So I went, but I went thinking, good, I'm going to get some techniques. I'm going to learn how to manage this better. But when I went to meet with this woman in Boston, Melinda Vituro, she started by asking me about my life and about what a day in my life was like. And I told her about my life and my job, and then I told her everything that I ate in a given day. And she said, it sounds like you have trouble managing your hunger. I can help you with that. And to my surprise, I started crying. Because that was the problem I thought no one could help me with. Since I was little, I had too much hunger. I had a problem with my hunger, and that was the problem that I was ashamed of. That was the problem that was under all the layers. It wasn't a problem of what I was eating. It wasn't a problem of time of day or combinations. The problem was I had this hunger that I couldn't deal with. And she said, I can help you manage that. That was a life-changing moment for me. I had to believe that she really meant what she said. And the truth is, she did. And it took a lot of work, but she changed the course of my life. We have to be open enough to believe that someone can go to the deepest level of the problem and help us heal there. But the strange part of this for humans is, the more we need the help, the more resistant we tend to be. Let me run this one by you. If this is your story, know that you're not alone. This is for a lot of people. How many of you went through a period of your life where things were really bad, and it was in that period that you stopped going to church? That's actually a pretty universal thing that happens. And when you talk to people, you find out it makes sense on some level. Why do they stop going? Because they blame God for what they're going through. They say, why do I want to see God today? No way. I'm mad at God. Or maybe what they're going through is personal and embarrassing, and they don't want people in the community looking at them. But I think the big reason is they think God and church can't help. They say, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky heaven problem. This is a real-life problem. Hearing about Jesus healing people, that's not going to help me. I need help right now with this real-life problem. So they stop going to church, which only sounds logical when you're lost in that fog. That's like taking Mucinex until you get bronchitis and then stopping. So this week, we are given a chance to ask ourselves, what is it for me? What is the thing that I've been treating the symptoms for, but there's a much deeper problem that I have to get at? What is that for me? What is the thing I've been resisting healing for? Are you like me, who didn't think you could deal with the hunger problem, so you just managed the diet and exercise thing? Are you like the deaf man, who thought that Jesus couldn't help him because he wasn't a doctor, so he didn't even bother to go see him when he was there? Are you somebody who has stayed away from church, or maybe goes to church but is staying away from God because you think, my marriage is too broken? My drinking or my smoking or my addiction with the internet is too serious. Maybe you've got a bad habit that you don't want to show yourself to God over, or a sinful action that you keep repeating that you don't want help for because you think you're too broken, too deep down. Jesus says to you, if that's true for you in any of those ways, be open. I've got the power. I can help you. And it's going to involve some sacrifice on your part. But we can do this. You know, when that deaf man had Jesus help him, he had to give in to some things that were weird. He had to let Jesus put his finger in his ear and then touch his tongue and spit. When I met with Melinda, I had to give in to keeping a food journal and writing down every single thing I ate and showing it to her. It took a lot of work, and it went against the grain of what I wanted. But that's how we get the results that we need. When we trust someone who can help us and let them work with us, don't resist. The first thing we need is openness. So, what Jesus says to that deaf man, he says to us today. Ephphatha. Be open.